Hello everyone, this is Shad Reyes and this is SIF 22. With me is Dr. Michael Lim. He is the Chief of the Cath Lab at Hackensack University Medical Center. Michael, always a pleasure to talk to you.
Good to see you, Shadi.
So we brought up a very important point about fellows matching for interventional cardiology fellowship.
Absolutely.
So what's happening? When are you going to get it?
Oh, I wish I could answer that question. Let's put forward the issues, though.
Yes.
So first of all, we don't have a match in interventional cardiology. Second of all, one of our sister subspecialties, the electrophysiologists, they recently actually did change, and now they do have a match. So people who want to progress on from cardiology fellowship to EP fellowship now have a match process, and so it defines that out a little bit better. So with that change, and now with COVID and Zoom interviews, there's been a substantial issue in this last cycle where candidates, cardiology fellows, are interviewed, offered positions for interventional fellowship, which they desperately want, but given short time frames to make a decision.
Correct.
Chadi said you can interview 2 people today. You tell them you got to let me know by tomorrow. Now you put the pressure on those candidates.
Correct.
You're their first choice, but they want to look otherwhere. But they're afraid if they turn you down, they might not have another choice because they'll lose their position. It's a very difficult position for our future fellows to be in, and so. The value of a match would be protection of them and giving them a little bit of assurance so that everybody's going to follow the same process. Because right now there really isn't one. Now the downside is the interventional fellowship program directors and the interventional fellowship programs themselves have been doing it this way since the beginning of interventional cardiology fellowship training began. So they're well schooled in what their ways are. This is how we do it. This is how we've been successful. You know, human nature doesn't really like change, and so they're saying potentially, I don't understand that there's a problem because everything from our end is fine.
Fine.
And
so the candidate.
But that's where we sit. I think we're at a little bit of crossroads now that we have to try to figure out.
So who should be the organization should initiate that to be an NRMP match fellowship?
Well, if you believe in SCI as the society that represents interventional cardiology, then hopefully you'll be happy with this answer. And that is SCI has put forward a task force to look into this issue and to try to figure out whether there is an ability and a will and a way to move our subspecialty toward and potentially even in an interventional cardiology fellowship match. And so that process has begun.
That's promising.
We want to hear from, and I've been honored to be on that task force.
Nice.
Don Abbott and Doug Drachman are the leads of this task force. Any one of us, I think, are very open to any and all opinions and thoughts. Because obviously this is not a one-size-fits-all solution. There's a lot of different competing ideas and thoughts here. And again, I'll go back to what I said before. You know, nobody is really ever that akin to wanting change. Yes. Nobody stands up and says, "Yes, change my life, please." They always, "Why do you want to change my life? You're going to make it harder. You're going to make it more difficult." And all of those things potentially are true, but the benefits may be there, but more hidden. So that's our exploration that we're on now.
But to your point, Mike, you said EP did it.
EP did it.
Cardiology before, we're doing it for a while, and it's working fine. It was fair and balanced.
Cardiology has done it. There was resistance and a fight to get to that point. To obtain this, the NRMP that runs the match, they require that 70% of the interventional cardiology fellowship program sign on to participate.
Correct.
Step 1. Step 2, 70% of all of the interventional cardiology positions have to be filled in the match.
But this is not happening.
But neither one is happening right now because we tried this process 10 years ago through the society, and we couldn't get 70% of the program directors to sign on. So the concept now is to see 10 years later, is there a little bit more of a recognition and a little bit more of a teamwork approach where we can try to figure out how to do this for, I think, for the betterment of the future of our specialty.
You remind me of one term, say, oh, this program fills internally.
Yes.
So I don't want to apply to them.
Yes.
This is what we're trying to achieve, to make it open to everybody.
Well, yeah, but you know, I understand the barriers and I understand the issues. You're an interventional cardiology fellowship program. You have one fellow a year, so you have to say yes to both. I mean, okay, I'm in all the time, and my one fellow I will take exclusively through the match. You're an interventional fellowship program with 2 fellows a year. You basically have to say the same thing, and that is the majority of our programs now. Is 1 and 2 fellow programs. The minority of our programs are 3, 4, and 5 fellow programs. The majority of them are smaller, and so we have work to do to try to talk to those interventional program directors and work with them to try to get them to understand they don't necessarily have to change what they end up doing. You can still take people internally. Our cardiology fellowship programs have taken internal medicine residents from their own program for
the ranking.
And they rank them, and there's ways to do that following the rules of the match. But it is a change. Absolutely. And so people resist change, so this is why we're talking, we're raising the issue. I think our interventional fellowship programs and the candidates that will come to us in the future will be much better off with a match, but we just have to start pushing that bar forward to get there.
Well, Mike, this is, to be honest with you, the first time hearing about that initiative. I'm really glad you are, and with the team, as you said, Dragman and everybody with Don doing it. Thank you so much.
My pleasure,
This is going to be a fair and balanced competition in the future.
No competition, but you know, we're raising the issue, we're raising the awareness, and let's try to pull everybody together to try to see how we can be better.
Thank you so much, Mike.
My pleasure.
Well, thank you everybody for watching. This is Shadi Reis from SIF 22. Please watch his videos and other on your YouTube channel. Mike, thanks again.
Thank you, Chad.